When you were studying political science, did you have a career in mind at the time as an undergrad?
Yeah, I
You,
didn't really know what I wanted to do for most of college or going into college. I thought I was interested in public service, and I still am, and I want to do that at some point.
hmm
I think it is challenging because a lot of my friends did go into working in what you'd say is political science as a field, which is a couple different options. One is going into academia to do research or
Yeah.
studying political science and becoming a professor one day.
Yeah.
Two is going to work for the government in an office either in DC or Sacramento or even locally. And
Yeah.
three is getting more involved in the politics side of it, working on a campaign,
Okay. Okay.
working around an election or a particular initiative or issue.
I see.
They're all different, and there's a lot of moving around. And I think at the end of the day, I wasn't super interested in the rough and tumble lifestyle of what
Yeah.
working in
In
those spaces
campaigns. Yeah.
is like after college.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
I did have a lot of friends that did go to work either in government or on a campaign, and it is an awesome experience. I think one of the challenges though is just that there are so many factors in politics that affect who's in power, and
hmm
and a lot of that goes to affecting your job, and
Yeah.
so you're in and out of positions really quickly. There's a
Yeah.
lot of moving around.
A lot of instability.
Yeah, a lot of instability, and some people are okay with that, and I think it can be a valuable experience.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't for you.
Yeah, it wasn't for me right out of
Yeah.
college. Yeah.
So what did you end up pursuing
Yeah.
post grad?
So I work now as an associate consultant at Bain Company in Los Angeles, which is a
Okay. Okay.
management consulting firm.
Yeah.
We advise the largest companies in America, Fortune 100 companies, around some of their biggest strategic issues.
Okay.
And it was actually really interesting. I didn't think that my experience in political science would apply so much to business,
Uh-huh.
but I found that the way that people are organized in a society under government, a lot of that is going to apply the same to how people are organized within a business
Yeah. And
or a company.
organization. Yeah.
Right, is you
Yeah.
have management and you have all the same politics happening internally.
I see. Yeah.
And the constituents might be the customers, or it might be the
Okay.
people who work there, right? But it's
Yeah.
all these factors affect decisions being made in very much the same way as figuring out how to pressure a lawmaker to support UC funding,
Yeah.
right? Is how am I going to get this initiative supported within my company or affect a certain issue in the
Yeah.
company.
So a lot of parallels, a lot of stuff
Yeah,
applicable.
certainly.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah.
For your role now as an associate consultant, what is your day to day like?
Yeah, yeah. So I work for a client, and I travel a lot,
Mm.
and we work around a big issue that this company is having,
Mm-hmm.
and similar to how the government might be making decisions around issues in our country right
Yeah.
now. I mean, the companies need to decide how to react.
Yeah.
For example, you can think about Blockbuster Video, right, and how they used to be the go-to for movies, and
Yeah.
Netflix took over,
Right.
right, and that they might have hired consultants at some point. They probably didn't take the advice or get the best advice.
Yeah.
But what will the future of media look like? How
Okay.
will people, ingest content
Yeah.
in the next 10 years? How will that change? If companies aren't prepared for that and they keep just doing what they're doing, it becomes very difficult when things change.
Yeah. So, as an associate, you work with a senior consultant? Or how
Yeah,
does
so
that
we'll have a
work?
team, typically, maybe 4 to 5 consultants and
Yeah.
a manager around one particular strategic issue, and we'll spend anywhere from 3 to 6 to 9 months in a very structured format of, hey, the decision that you need to make is a hard one, and there's no right or wrong answer. Nobody can predict the future. Nobody can
Right.
predict, the best way to go about this.
Mm-hmm.
Another example is like, Netflix made a decision to create their own content. That was a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
strategic decision that, it's really difficult. How do you decide whether
Yeah.
that's worth
It's
it?
a
It's
big,
really
big decision.
expensive. Maybe they didn't have the expertise, or it would create all kinds of challenges, but they determined very strategically that the ROI for them would make it worth it.
I see.
And so that is a lot of what the process is of saying we have 6 months to make this decision,
Yeah.
or to decide a path forward on a particular issue, and we need to do it in the best way we can, knowing that there is no right or wrong answer.
Yeah. So essentially, as consultants, you do a ton of the research for these smaller companies.
Yeah,
Or
I
bigger
mean
companies,
it's
bigger
both the
companies.
research, but also a lot of analytical problem solving of putting together what you find,
Yeah.
you know, and trying to piece it into some solution that
Yeah.
is meaningful to the company you work for.
When you do that type of research, what does it entail? Does it entail talking to people, like online research, market research?
Yeah. I mean everything. We'll work in a very niche area. You know, I talked about, for example, I worked for a company that owns laundry machines in apartment buildings and college dorms across America.
Yeah.
And it's a very large company, but they face the problem of the fact that most new apartment buildings are built with washer dryers in the building.
Got it. So they
which
can't enter that
totally
market.
undercutting their business.
Yeah.
So they need to figure out, what are we going to do in our future? What's our future going to look like?
Yeah.
And we looked at all of the different possible initiatives or new products they could start selling, or changes they could be making to how they offer their product.
Yeah.
For example, installing credit card readers or mobile phone payment, and how would that impact their top line. Everything from that to cost-cutting measures and how they could be more efficient in their operations. All of it goes into making a decision of how we are going to continue to grow and lead in this industry.
Got it. Got it. Do you have any long-term career goals, or
Yeah.
do you want to stick with
Yeah.
consulting?
No, I'm still not sure. A lot of people say that consultants choose consulting because they're just delaying the decision they couldn't make out of college, which is trying to decide what to do with your life, which I'm finding takes a lot of time and maybe even your whole life. Some people don't know really what they're doing. And so I'm interested in going into public service at some point. I don't know when, how, or where. But I think my focus now is picking up skills that will be useful no matter what I want to do in the future.
Do you think you want to go into business as well, or maybe?
Possibly. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, I'm definitely interested in management, and again, like politics, how people interact and how people form systems together and how they lead, how decisions are made. I'm really interested in that kind of stuff, and it applies universally to both the private and public sector.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you know what some of your friends are doing with the major in political science?
Besides campaigns,
what
all
are they?
kinds of things. I mean, people, you realize, like, at the end of college, like, people go in so many different directions and will take jobs doing stuff totally unrelated to what they're studying. And that's okay, and that's normal, and
normal.
happens all the time. So I have a lot of friends that did go into politics and government. I have a lot of friends in business and consulting. I have a lot of friends taking a gap year, going to med school. I have some friends in law school right now. So there's just so many different areas.
You really can do anything.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
All right. Thanks again, Rafi.
Awesome. No problem.